Beautiful. Smooth. I'm here. And I'm first.
He did it, ladies and gentlemen. He has joined us in the year 2025. Michael is all teched up now.
Yeah.
Leveled up. And you are now able to join us at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is nice. I like that.
Not playing catch up anymore.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Your politics, on the other hand, have not really received the kind of reform that your technology has recently. I think we might want to think more about, the inner workings of your mind more than your computer. Concerned, just expressing concerns.
Yeah. You're doing the concern trolling everybody's doing. Like, I'm so worried about him. Like, is he okay? He's joined a cult. I see this guy talk for an hour and a half. I see a total stranger talk for an hour and a half a week on the internet, and I'm really concerned about him. Something doesn't make sense. Why is he? Yeah.
It hurts our feelings when a friend becomes a fascist. That's all.
Name calling. 2 minutes in. 2 minutes in, and we're already with the.
Why is it name calling? That's a compliment for some of you.
Okay, sure.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
I want to do this. Let's do this before we move on, because fuck it. No, it does seem like your politics have changed a bit in the last couple of years. Okay, thank you. That's all. I just want to be clear, because I was often thinking, wait, is he just steelman or not? What's it called? Devil's advocate here? Like, I kept thinking that you were just okay.
Like the Maddie Geiger interview, vacuous vocation that I did last year. Like, I listened back on that and I'm like, I don't believe any of that anymore. I mean, I believe a lot of it, but like when I said Thomas Massie is the only good member of Congress, I cringe when I hear that now. Like,
why? Wait, what's wrong with Massie now?
He's like the Epstein stuff, and
okay.
He's fallen for the Epstein hoax. He's really, really popular, but again, I think the moment is Trump, and the moment is to give him as much power as possible and to not oppose him and to let him do his agenda. And if you're thinking long term about political goals, that's what you have to do. You have a limited time with this, and the stakes are high. And I want things to get accomplished. And I see Massie is doing a lot of grandstanding and opposing Trump at critical moments, like the big beautiful bill and other things. I think he's a good person. I think he was brave for what he did with the CARES Act in 2020. But I think things have changed.
Okay, but on Venezuela and foreign policy, I wouldn't say generally, because I guess you're still basically with me on Ukraine and Gaza, right?
I'm with you on Ukraine and Gaza, although I don't like I don't like the Zionists, and I don't like the anti-Zionists. I don't like how it's this black hole nucleus of all politics, and it controls the way people think about everything. And everybody's controlled by Israel. Everybody's an Israel shill, or everybody's a Qatari shill. I don't like that, and I want people to focus on the United States of America and not some other country.
Well, so that's all fine, and so we're not far apart on Gaza or Ukraine, but on Venezuela, last couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. Well,
you've been not just far apart from me, you've been far apart from pretty much everybody, right? Because it's hard to find someone who supports the Venezuela action.
Alex Jones. Jones.
Yeah, but he's about it. I mean, most of MAGA's against it. The neocons are against it.
The neocons are for it.
No.
The neocons.
No, there's a couple.
The bulwark old guys are, but the Republican ones in Congress are for it. The Marco Rubios and Ted Cruz's are for it.
The Brett Stevens and Bolton and Elliot Abrams, those three neocons, they've all come out with public statements in favor of straight up regime change. Yes.
Yeah.
But Bill Kristol, the Bulwark, he has a whole team of neocons over there. They're all against it. The Commentary magazine, they're against it. There's hardcore neocons, right? These are the people who invented the Iraq War we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're all against this. They think it's terrible.
Also, Bolton isn't necessarily a neocon. He's just like a guy who wants the United States to exercise a ton of power.
Yeah. Interventionist.
Yeah.
An aggressive interventionist. Yeah. So my point was that you're very much alone. There's very few people.
I'm not pro invading Venezuela. I think I think you're
blowing up the boats, though. You're for that.
Yeah. No, I'm not for that. I said I was withholding my judgment on that, and I'm going to
okay.
wait until I see how this plays out before I make something one way or another.
Okay.
And I'm reflexively against Mark Kelly. I'm reflexively against this operation to take out Pete Hegseth. I'm against, like Mark Kelly, talked to the generals on the floors of Congress after the Afghanistan withdrawal and ran cover for them bombing a bus full of school children. And like he gave cover for that. He's Obama's pick to be president. He is going to continue the perpetual warfare state. He doesn't care about human lives. What he cares about is wresting power away from the Trump administration so the Democrats can be the only one who exercise the force of the military. So I'm against that. I was withholding my judgment as to what these boats were. Now I think they're drug boats. I don't think they're fishing boats at all. I think evidence has come out that these are drug boats.
Like what?
I mean, the images we see, the things that light on fire, the fact that they're using all these motors. You have to take the DEA's word for it, but the price of the brick has gone up, so cocaine's more expensive everywhere. And the fact that the administration is like not backing down at all by saying that these are definitely drug runners, that's what we're doing. I think they have to dot their I's and cross their T's because they know they're going to be under so much scrutiny. For the most part, I think these are drug boats, and I think
Okay. Well,
I see a long-term strategy for going after the cartels, because if you take out the boats, then they have to scramble. If you take out the product, they have to scramble to reassemble lines, and that gives intelligence a ton of information as to what these guys are doing. So I think there's a longer-term play to go after Colombia and then go after Mexico. And so I think this totally plays into I don't think they're bombing fishing boats for intimidation purposes. I think they're bombing drug boats because they know that gives them cover. I still don't know what the long-term end game is for this. There's a bunch of theories. And so I'm going to withhold my judgment until this plays out. And, I saw people, the way that the Iran thing played out, it wasn't the doomsday thing that everybody predicted. So I'm withholding my judgment until this plays out. Okay,
so it sounds like you think there is something positive about Trump's Venezuela policies.
Here's a positive thing. We are in negotiations with Ukraine right now to end their war.
Mm-hmm.
Putting a third of our naval capacity in our hemisphere in a conflict tells them we can't support you. We can't send Tomahawk missiles. We can't send military assets. We have our own problems to deal with. Mm-hmm. So during Ukraine negotiations, that's a strategic thing to do, to tell Europe, hey, Europe, we can't fight your war in Ukraine. Israel, we can't fight your war in Iran. So, yeah.
So that's actually raises a really interesting point. Because guess what the neocons hate about Trump's foreign policy vis-a-vis Venezuela? It is signaling in real terms, and I think they're right about this. I think Trump probably would agree with this. Signaling in real terms a reversion to basically 19th century U.S. foreign policy, which is regional, hemispheric, basically limited to the Western Hemisphere. And in particular, the Americas, right? So the Monroe Doctrine and exercising that prerogative, self-invented prerogative to be the sovereign over all of the Americas, and moving away from Europe and Asia and Africa, right? Which to the neocons, the center of the world still remains Europe and the Middle East. So I think this is right. I think that's the right analysis of Trump's foreign policy generally. And if it is right, this is massive, and it's not being talked about enough.
Yes. This is huge. Yeah.
And Michael fucking Weimer, that would be something positive about this stuff, the Venezuela, as insane as that sounds coming out of my mouth, right? I noticed that. I think it was yesterday because I heard the neocons, I think it was Commentary, one of them talking about this. They were like, yeah, he's given up on the global project. We got to stop this. He just wants the Americas now. It's back to Monroe. And I said, oh, Huh. That's right. I think that is right. I mean, we kind of saw this coming for a while, but now it's really, he clearly wants out of Ukraine. He does not like NATO in general. He certainly wants to get out of the Middle East. He has no interest after he bombs Iran, maybe. But although I think that's mainly the Adelsons talking in Trump's mind, I don't know how committed he is to Israel, and he's certainly not committed to NATO, and he's not committed to anything, actually, except, I guess, American national power. He's committed to that strength and power, and to prestige, maybe more than anything. Like, he really wants America to be prestigious, to be considered, to be treated like the hegemon, right? Not just be the hegemon, but be treated like the hegemon. And so, being the big fish in half of the pond instead of all of the pond, I can see appealing to Trump, and that's where he's at. His whole focus has been on the Pacific, right, and Latin America. So, yeah, this is back to the 19th century, and yes, it's an improvement over the global American empire. There you go. How about that, Michael?
Yes, thank you.
Not so crazy.
Not so crazy. Yeah, not so crazy.
Still a fascist, but you're not crazy.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's a big deal, guys. Everybody needs to understand this, and this is pivotal in American history. If the empire is going to shift from a global one to a half global one, that's big. Now, it's still an empire, and it's still an imperialist nation, and it will still be, as we've already seen, quite vicious within its new jurisdiction. But it's only half the world this time. Well, and it's also closer by too. It's also closer to us, which is good because we're better able to see, quite literally, what the empire's up to when it's south of the border instead of halfway across the world. So, all right.
Okay, do you want more on this?
Maybe.
The incentive structure has changed too for the nature of what the empire is going to be. So the old policy was invade the world, invite the world, as Steve Saylor puts it. Destroy countries. When that crisis happens, bring in their refugees. The Trump administration is focused on remigration and is focused on getting tens of millions of people out of this country. If they're going away from this country, the incentive is for them to go to a stable country that's going to accept them and not just send them right back to us. So that's why I think he's super interested in Venezuela, because, under the Maduro regime for the last 20 years, there's been a migrant crisis where 8 million people plus have escaped the borders and migrated. And I think he wants stable right-wing governments all throughout Latin America to accept the remigration. As opposed to destabilizing these countries, I think,
that could be part of it.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say that. That's brilliant too. Yeah. But that's speculative, right? You don't have any evidence of that, but it could be right.
I don't have any explicit evidence of that being the goal. I'm just saying that's where the incentives are. And that's, I mean, he said a little bit about it with Venezuela, but I'm just kind of putting two and two together here.
Well, he's already done it. I mean, CICOT in Salvador, that was the point.
Yes.
Was that we have a lot of Latins to get rid of and not enough places to put them.
Yeah. So Honduras right now with their elections, he's really interested in how that plays out, and he wants the right winger to win, even if the right winger might be globalist in some other ways. Colombia is going to have their elections in 6 months. The communist Gustavo Petro seems to be a little unpopular there. He wants to get him out. So, if there's covert operations here, that's where I think it's pointing.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I've said over the last couple of weeks, I think the Venezuela. Go ahead. What?
Oh, and then Venezuela. Part of the Venezuela play might be a Cuba play as well, because Venezuelan oil goes to Cuba, and you take out Venezuela, you take out Cuba, 2 for 1 there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been a geopolitical thing from the beginning, Venezuela. And I don't know, in Trump's mind, who knows what goes on. But I think for Marco Rubio, I think for the State Department generally, I think for policy planners, I think the national security staff, I think those people, the people who actually make foreign policy. No, I'm sure I'm quite sure anyway, that it's always been Venezuela. The Venezuela issue has always been simultaneously about Cuba, because Cuba gets most of its oil from Venezuela and they have an extremely close alliance. Venezuela is not close, as close with Russia. Cuba is not close with Russia at all. And Russia is now attempting to step in to replace the Venezuelans as the oil supplier for Cuba, again, going back to the Soviet era, but they've not been friendly. So to cut off the supply of Venezuela to Cuba is one of the aims of this, because Cuba is a basket case economically. So without Venezuelan oil, and unless the Russians step up to replace it, Cuba's done as a project, as a communist project. So that I'm positive Rubio has that in mind. And then China, and this is really big. And there's a really good, actually, video explainer on Al Jazeera about this. Go to YouTube, and I think search for China, Latin America, and Al Jazeera. And it's a great 20-minute thing. Let us show you how many contracts China has made in Latin American countries, how much infrastructure they have built in Latin American countries. It's basically every country in Central and South America has had some sort of project done with China. Infrastructure, no military stuff, none of that, just building bridges and dams and roads and freeways and airports and all that. Maybe some tech stuff, but mostly like hardcore concrete and steel stuff, infrastructure. And they're all over. China's all over Latin America. So I'm positive also that Trump, I'm sure Trump has this in mind, Rubio, the State Department, the thinkers, the planners, they all are also using this as an intervention against China, against China's presence in South America, which won't be successful because China's, I think, there to stay because, again, they have all these investments in every country, basically. They're not going to. So, go ahead.
Yeah. One thing that increases my confidence in all this also is that Trump is on the phone with Maduro, Trump is on the phone with Xi, and Trump is on the phone with Putin, and we don't know what those conversations entail. And so, I think they're coordinating. I don't think Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff in their meeting with Putin only discussed Ukraine. I think they also talked about Venezuela. And when Trump met with Xi this last week to do the trade deal and everything, I think behind closed doors, they talked about Venezuela as well and what he's going to do. And I think they're trying to do so. They're coordinating. I don't know what the plan is, but they're talking to each other about whatever it is.
Yeah. So I'm just going to lay out the third geopolitical layer here, which is that in 99, I think Chavez came to power. What he did, the sort of Chavismo revolution, the actual program, much of it was in foreign policy. It was maybe the first time, I think it probably was, other than Cuba itself. I mean, communist Cuba did a lot of foreign policy, but other than that, I can't think of another South American or Central American or Caribbean country that has been as aggressive in foreign policy as Venezuela was under Chavez in the 2000s. Because oil prices, as I said, when he came to power, were very, very high. And so Venezuela found itself sitting on a bunch of cash from its oil. It has the largest oil reserves in the world. It's kind of amazing to think about, even more than in the Middle East, right? And so this semi-socialist, soft socialist comes to power with a bunch of cash, and he uses it to form or begin forming a new alliance that is anti-Yankee, anti-imperialist, an alliance with the Cubans, an alliance with Bolivia. Left-wing presidents started to become elected in South American politics, like Bolivia with Morales, right? And more now Colombia has one, and Peru, and there's left-wing movements in Brazil, and so it was called Petro-Caribe or Petro-Caribe, I guess, which was it was like the first BRICS. It was the original BRICS. It was the original anti-NATO, a federation or an alliance, but it was just an economic alliance at the time of all these Latin American countries who were making themselves self-sufficient, did not need to sell to the US. And that was, of course, considered to be a major threat to US hegemony in the Western Hemisphere and the world. It means that the US, the Monroe Doctrine would be essentially done. Right? And that, I'm sure, is the third reason that the State Department and the national security policy planners are doing what they're doing, and Trump himself. It's those three reasons that are all geopolitical, and that cause the American empire to take radical measures. I actually get it. What is on the table is control of the Western Hemisphere, and it's actually possible that the US would lose control over the Western Hemisphere, lose control over Latin America. Everything south of Mexico is actually kind of up for grabs now. I mean, think about all the countries with left-wing kind of hostile. Either they're fully in BRICS, like Brazil. That's the B in BRICS is Brazil, right? Or they have, you know, very powerful left-wing movements or actual leaders like Petro in Colombia who might join the BRICS. Latin America is hanging in the balance. And so it's not actually that insane what Trump is doing. The way he's doing it is certainly unconventional and may not be the best way to go, but tactics is where Trump is the great improviser, right? And the great innovator. He does it his own way. And we'll see if it all works. We don't know because the US has never operated this way, announcing covert operations ahead of time.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well,
but what my point is that I think people have actually undersold how important this is for the empire, which is not to say that that's why we should go to war. It is the main reason we shouldn't go to war. The empire shouldn't exist and shouldn't have this need, shouldn't have these desires and needs to control vast swaths of the Earth's land. But it does. And so it's a beast. It's a voracious beast. And it needs control. It doesn't need necessarily to remake people's consciousness, although it likes to do that if it can. But it needs control over a landmass, and a particular, you know, crucial landmass like Latin America. So yeah, I think this is why Trump is going all in, and this is why I think if you're in Venezuela, it's best to leave, because it's going to be a war. Is my point. I mean, unless you really want to die for your country, if you're one of those weird people, okay, fine. But like, if you don't want to, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, and I hate the American empire, and I wish this would stop. I do think it will stop someday. But people need to understand this is why the empire is doing what it's doing. It's not because Trump is crazy, man.
Yeah. The other thing about this that makes this really hard to parse out is that Trump isn't supporting a specific opposition leader. He's always demeaned Juan Guaido. He called him like a little man.
It's because he doesn't know who anybody is. He doesn't remember anybody's name. He doesn't really know what's going on. That's why he doesn't name anybody.
Okay.
He doesn't really know. He doesn't know the politics of Venezuela. Come
on. Maria Machado.
He knows her name. He thinks she's cute or whatever.
Well, he said, I don't, when she got the Nobel Peace Prize, he said he didn't know her. He was like,
my point. Right.
I mean,
he doesn't know anything.
He's either stupid or he's playing stupid. I think Trump, quite often.
No, he clearly doesn't know. He's not stupid, but he's ignorant though. He's clearly ignorant about basically every issue, but certainly this one.
I think he's been briefed about Machado and Juan Guaido.
Yeah, he's been briefed by Marco Rubio. Right.
Yeah.
He's been told the line. Yeah.
But if he was full-throated in supporting a certain opposition person, I'd feel like this is going to be a regime change war. If the rhetoric was Maduro is Hitler, I would think like this is going to be a huge, costly regime change war. The rhetoric is he's on the phone and we'd like to work with him and we'd like to come to an agreement. We're having a phone call, and this could go a number of ways. You know, hopefully, I think he safely goes to another country. Like Qatar was the one thrown out recently. Maybe Brazil.
So
yeah.
So here's the other thing.
Or real quick, or he gets assassinated for the $50 million bounty. Somebody takes that bounty seriously and assassinates him.
Yep. Right. Non-ideological. Trump's reasons for attacking Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
They're sending drugs and killing our people. It's self-defense is the argument. It's not ideological. He doesn't say shit about the Venezuelan people.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't care. Doesn't say a word about Maduro oppressing his own people. Isn't that new? That's new because every other one of America's enemies was a very famous oppressor of their own people. That's all we heard about before we went to war against their countries. Not this time. So this is the other massive sea change in American foreign policy that Trump is bringing about, everybody. So number one is a reduction of the empire to just the Western Hemisphere. Number one, big change. Number two, and this is not a big change. This is the beginning of the end of the empire. It is no longer ideological. It's just transactional now. According to Trump, right? And the way the US is operating, there's no talk about and there's no action toward spreading democracy, uplifting the poor, expanding American values, saving people, humanitarian, none of that shit. No, they're sending drugs and they have a lot of oil and our competitor is taking over down there. And that's why we're doing it. It's not to save anybody. Now, a non-ideological American empire, that's brand new because the American empire was founded as a secularized Christian ideology that the United States was and is obliged by God to go out and change the world. Trump, from the beginning, since 2015, right? He has taken a big shit on that concept and literally mocked it. Well, that's the founding concept of America, everybody. So we are encountering pretty important changes right now, I would say. There you go. We have a whole new kind of empire, don't we?
Wow. Yeah.
And I would say generally for the better. You would much rather have a transactional empire, I promise you, than an ideological one. Ideological empires never stop. They never stop. They can't stop. They have to keep going. Transactional empire, you can stop them in many ways. You can make a deal with them. You can stop them by force, whatever. But if they're ideological, they will keep going. And this is the words they use, to the ends of the earth. Good.
Yeah.
Good, Trump. See, Michael, look at what we just did.
Yeah. I know. That's why I was frustrated last week because I'm like, I got here through your analysis, through the politics of self-interest, the politics of being non-ideological, and the politics of not falling for moral grandstanding.
And what did I do? I just called you names.
Yeah.
I just called you a racist and a fascist.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Dad. I'm sorry, brother. Everybody vote for Trump when he runs for a third term.
Yeah. Yes.
After the Civil War, in which the MAGA forces win because they have more guns.
Yeah. But we're really fat, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. They're going to need their ATVs.
We're big targets. Huge targets.
ATVs are important. I mean, I think the ATV is going to be crucial in this fight. The all-terrain vehicle. Yeah, man. Those scooter carts at Costco. Yeah, they're not going to work in this, guys. You guys look great in your hats and stuff, and the guns are dope. Awesome guns. But yeah, you got to actually move from target to target. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Civil War, though, between MAGA and the liberals.
The war of coastal aggression.
Again, the cities are going to be surrounded, though. So they're going to have like tactical advantage from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The enemy it starts off surrounded.
Yeah.
Cool. Except for San Francisco, which is surrounded by water. That will be the last holdout. The last liberals on earth will be in San Francisco, only because of their geographical advantage.
Yeah.
So,
on the Civil War front, this is what Tom Luongo has been railing about with Venezuela, but I know.
Guys, you're not the only one. Tom Luongo. I have a few friends who keep telling me to check out Tom Luongo, and every time I do, I'm quite disappointed, including this time. I checked him out on Venezuela. It makes no sense. He is incoherent. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm just saying this because I got it from him. And this is an important analysis. Is like the port cities, right? Did you hear this? What he was saying about the ports?
Yeah, I actually did.
That all the ports on the east and west coast are controlled by Democrat mayors and Democrat governors.
Yeah.
And they are increasingly forming coalitions and defying federal orders. And they have a lot of power and leverage by controlling port cities. And if they wanted to really hurt Trump, they could control trade through their ports. If they wanted to break off, they had the power to do that. So bombing a bunch of drug runners and criminals in what Trump called the Gulf of America is a way to ensure that trade is legal and free to the ports like Houston and Florida and New Orleans that are controlled by red states.
He has an organized crime piece of his thesis too, though. Luongo. That's part of he right. He believes that major politicians are connected to organized crime, and that's what's going on here. That they're protecting their criminal bosses. Yeah, that's his theory. My point is, don't listen to Tom Luongo.
Well, I didn't go there, but I think that level of analysis. I think that level of analysis of, hey, this is very, very important for trade, and we want to keep this open. And I'm not going to let any funny business happen in my Gulf that I need for open trade that I actually have control over. I think that's
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Pete Hegseth, let's do this.
Before that,
yeah.
One more massive shift from the administration that ties into him. It's the Department of War now. It's not the Department of Defense. We haven't talked about this. Is that
right?
Yeah, we're being very forward about what we're doing here. There's no hiding behind euphemisms. There's no Orwellian doublespeak. This is the War Department.
It is. I find it every time I hear it mentioned, or I see the sign saying Department of War, or I watch the video of Hegseth himself nailing the new plaque on the building saying Department of War. I am depressed, but I also know that that's the right thing to do. Honesty is what that is. And we want to be honest. I am depressed that I live in a country that is a global empire that has as its military department called the Department of War. That's a really sounds dystopian, right? Yet that is where we are. And so I'd much rather them tell us what it really is than what it has never been, which is the Department of Defense. It's never been that. Guys, think about it. No war in American history was fought in defense. Never. None. Not a one. You can't name one. Even World War II, that was not defense, self-defense against Japan. We forced Japan to attack Pearl Harbor. And also, it was Pearl Harbor, which wasn't even a state. So, I mean, sorry, it wasn't a state. Yes, right. So, right.
Yeah, it wasn't a state till the 50s, right?
Right. It was a territory. Yeah, exactly. So, right. So exactly how there was never self-defense in anything the empire has done. American foreign policy has never, not one single time. 1812. Okay, since 1812. Nothing has been in self-defense. It's all been offensive.
Scott Horton says that was a war to conquer
and even that
Canada.
was imperialism. That was even right. Even that was imperialism. But there were moments in it, of course, where Americans had to defend their cities from the British. But no, even that was an imperial reach, 1812. But everything else, clearly, there's not even controversial. Like, why else would we have been in France and Cambodia and Nicaragua and you name it, right? Pete Hegseth, pretty boy murderer. What a dumb shit. How did Trump decide that was the way to go, to hire him? There are other people. There are former generals who actually would not be laughed at, and also might not make decisions like double taps on some drowning fisherman who you think is a drug dealer. Calling in a second strike on a guy that you see treading water in the ocean when his boat is burning all around him, shooting him with another missile, doing that twice, 2 different guys, right?
That's if you believe the anonymous sources at the Washington Post by a journalist who pushed Russiagate.
Well, I mean, I think Trump and every officer and Hegseth who was involved in these strikes on these boats is going to hell anyway. But if I believed in such a thing, if I believed in human evil, I would believe they're evil. They would be the first in line. It's just murder to me. It's just straight premeditated. I would call it premeditated yet reckless murder somehow. It manages to be both. Serving absolutely zero beneficial purpose for anyone in the world. There's nothing there. Even if they were full of drugs, nothing good was done by this, as if drugs won't continue to flow into the United States and we won't continue to snort powder. Anyway, I'm just, but again, it's the nakedness of it that's actually good. Because is this the first time the US has murdered people who are innocent to advance the empire in some way? It happens damn near every day. That's not really an exaggeration. This time we see it and we know it. We know what it is. And they try to fake it, but everyone sees right through it. It's the naked empire. That is now, I think, going to be the chapter of the name of the final chapter in my book. I'd now decided.
The naked empire?
I think so, because that's what Trump has done.
Mm-hmm.
Trump has made the empire naked, and we'll see. He's also made it non-ideological, as I said, and he's made it now hemispheric. So yeah, that will certainly, I got to do that in my last chapter. Because history's happening right now. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, these are seismic shifts. Now, they could all be reversed, right? With the next president. If the Democrats win, they'll reverse all of this, I would imagine, and go right back to the global empire. But it might not. Who knows? I mean, because Vance could win, or maybe the Democrats might start to change too on these issues. So we'll see. But man, this is it big. Not since 1776 have we had any real break in the idea of the American exceptional empire. Here we are. Something else. Living through it. Let's go.
Okay. I don't. Yeah. Kind of wrapped up the Hegseth story.
I mean, do you have any other feelings or thoughts on that? I mean, isn't he?
I've already said it. No, well, I mean, not until Lloyd Austin and everybody else is in prison. They have to go to prison first for me to consider putting Hegseth in prison.
Really?
Yeah. Because
I think it would be a good precedent. I think it'd be really good to put a Secretary of Defense in prison. I think that'd be a good thing.
And I think that secretary should be Lloyd Austin.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I agree there would be a negative consequence to just jailing Hegseth and not the others, because then what you say is
Secretary of Defense Liz Cheney next.
You have to practice murderous imperialism, but don't do it in front of everybody. Do it the way we used to do it.
Yeah.
Like Lloyd Austin did it.
Yeah,
you do it like through proxies, and you make sure it's not on video, make sure it's not our bombs and our guys killing people on our video. We learned that in 2003, 2004 in Iraq. Remember the video of the fucking snuffing out of 10 or 20 guys in Iraq? Helicopter gunship blow. It was the Bradley Manning release. Anyway. Yeah, we don't do that. We don't show it. We don't brag about it. We don't make jokes about it on Twitter, Pete Hegseth, which he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they will issue reforms making it illegal for the president or Secretary of Defense to behave in that way. And they will continue to dominate the world and create wars and do everything they've done in the old way. So yeah, I agree, I guess, although it'd still be good. I'd still rather have the precedent set so that we can then go after Lloyd Austin.
I don't see that. I don't see a world where Pete Hegseth goes to jail and it's not because Democrats have returned power and returned the status quo.
Man.
And another positive side effect of this is, for the first time, Congress is talking about congressional authorization for war. This is the first time, I don't know, in 50 years we've heard that. Like, when does Congress approve wars? It doesn't happen. Like, even though that's how it's supposed to go. But now they're saying, these are acts of war that we didn't authorize. You answered me. And yeah, I think that's a positive thing for Congress to be oppositional again. Yeah.
It's a, I mean, just back to this, it's a double first degree homicide, is it not?
The thing is, the way the government works, he is authorized to exercise that power. So calling it a homicide is a moral judgment, not a legal one. And so maybe it is in the eyes of the Lord, but in the eyes of the United States law, it's not.
Well,
because he designated them as terrorists, and he's got military lawyers approving these strikes with him. He's got, this is the way business has been done. It's been approved. This is his job. So I might morally agree with you, but not legally.
I mean, well, it certainly violates international law, which, and by the way, international law is kind of a ridiculous concept, but there is no world government, right? But so what we have is a bunch of agreements between various countries. That's it. So that sort of network of that spider's web of agreements, contracts between countries, treaties mostly, is it. That's what international law is. When people invoke that, that's what they mean. And I guess UN resolutions as well. That's what constitutes, quote, international law. Now, most countries in the world, probably, at least most major countries, have been involved in those treaties in various ways. And there have been, many mass treaties like the Geneva Convention, where like most of the countries of the world all sign on. So, it's not a meaningless concept. But anyway, it is. I just wanted to clarify that. And what Trump's done in Venezuela is absolutely a violation of that. So, I mean, zero due process. How is that? Yeah. I mean, Gaddafi was convicted of 230 counts of murder or whatever it was for Lockerbie, Scotland, right? Because he blew up an airplane, allegedly. And so it was considered, even though it was a state, he was the president or prime minister of Libya, and he used the state to do it. He used his own military, I think, to do it. It was considered just a straight crime. Why not here? Why not this?
Well, it is the policy of the United States that if somebody is being held in a court of international law, that, if an American head of state is being taken in for international law, it's the policy of the United States to invade and free them and, take them back. Like, so the United States, I think, is more powerful than the rest of the world, and I don't see a force capable of enforcing international law in the United States. And it hasn't applied to George Bush. It hasn't applied to Obama. It hasn't applied to anybody. And so I don't want the first oppositional administration to be the first to be prosecuted under that standard.
Yeah. Right. Because the message, as I said, will end up being practice business differently, not stop practicing business. Yeah. Right. We want the business to be shut down.
And it's we get to determine when you can do this, not. Yeah.
They're not going to respond by closing the military bases, right? Anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Which is what, and by the way, no one talks about that ever. Like, why is that not a position that's being taken by anybody? Like, what, it should be a specific position. The DSA and the Libertarian Party should both have in their platforms closure. Maybe they do. I don't think they do. Closure of X number of military bases. I mean, it should be all of them. All the foreign ones. Should be the closure of every single foreign military base. I doubt that's in the DSA or Libertarian Party. platforms, but shouldn't that be just like a baseline position for any rational human being now? Like the US needs zero, none. Foreign bases, foreign countries? No, none. Not one reason to serve you or me or any of us. None whatsoever. I'm not talking about closing down embassies. Those are great. Embassies are fine. Talking's great. We want trade deals for sure. Open trade deals, trade deals that are no deal, meaning that there is no agreement, meaning they don't need an agreement. We just trade. People just are allowed to trade between countries. That's it. That's all we need. Yeah. It's just so obvious, it seems to me, to most people who study this, that the American empire as it is constituted is not just unnecessary, it is nothing but a drain. We don't need it. It's not good for us. People talk about, oh, it secures our wealth because we control all the resources of the world. And yeah, but that's not like exactly how it's worked. I mean, the fact that the Vietnam War happened didn't make tires cheaper because that's where all the rubber is in Vietnam. Right? I mean, it's much more, so it's never quite like that. And of course, we are how many trillions of dollars in debt, and how much of that is directly due to America's foreign engagements. Maintaining those bases, I would love to see a budget. I don't know. I've never seen this. How much does it cost? What are we paying every year to keep those bases going? I mean, it must be staggering. I mean, these are like cities. These are whole cities in foreign countries, and there's 500 of them, at least. Those are the ones we know about. Why is that? Should be just everyone's top policy position. Can you imagine, like in 2028, if that were like everybody had to take a position on the foreign military bases? My dream. But why not? It's just, there is zero rationale, right? For any one of those foreign military bases, right? Have you ever heard of one? Why we should have any one of those open? Never heard of it. For us to serve Americans. Why does it? No, the embassies are great. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about bases with guys with guns and helicopters and bomber planes. Like those. Why? It doesn't serve Americans one bit, and we're paying for it. And we're paying an incredible amount of money for it. I just one day, I hope the empire will become front and center and every politician will be forced to take a position on it. But we need to get specific and concrete, my anti-imperialist brothers and sisters. I mean, everybody's doing great work that I mentioned on, the Duran, the gray zone, people are doing great stuff, but people don't get specific and concrete about this and make specific calls to close specific bases and demand Congress people to make that part of their platform. There should be a movement to make that a plank in the Democratic Party platform of 2028. Why can't we do that? It'll lose, I get it, but making the effort could start a movement to eventually change things. So I'm just going to keep talking about this until it happens. Sorry if I'm boring.
No. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of which ones would be the most popular to close.
Any of them. Like Americans, they don't even know about them.
Well, what's funny is like one of my coworkers was like 20, was stationed in Korea. And I'm like, oh, my 93-year-old grandfather was stationed in Korea. Like something like that. Something where the mission has been won, or the mission, something that Americans have a connection to might be the popular way to do it. I don't know.
And how much money has been spent on that same base in that period, right? And how many Korean girls have been raped near that base since then? And how many, that's the effect, is, the net effect of those bases is that some girls near the base who live near the base get raped, which happens everywhere near a military base. Nobody was saved. Freedom certainly wasn't saved. I wasn't saved. You weren't saved. Nobody was saved from anything. Nobody was protected from anything whatsoever. Because no one over there is coming to do anything to us. The whole thing is so fucking preposterous. but we need to see price tags. How much is this costing? And I think that'll go a long way. Man, if we had the number of what the Al Udeid military base in Qatar costs us annually, it's the biggest military base in the entire Middle East of any country. It's the biggest military base. It must be just incredible how much money it costs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just must be staggering. And to have that number out there would be really go a long way toward bringing down the empire, because I think Americans would start to take it seriously.
Yeah. Maybe the initiative of like what Trump's doing with NATO, making them pay for their own defense. Yeah. Say we're going to start closing our own bases, and it's your turn now. And then,
that's part of the shrinking of the empire.
Mm-hmm.
That he's, I think, deliberately doing that. That was part of it, getting the NATO countries to pay for it themselves, and that allows the United States to piss off back to its homeland, to where it belongs. He thinks, right, to the Americas.
So if I were to oppose Hegseth and Trump, it would be under accelerationist anarchist terms, is that they're running the government, or they're running the war aspects of the government in a way that's competent, in a way that it wasn't in the past, that might strengthen the empire in the future. So, for example, Pete Hegseth has pretty much solved the recruiting crisis. So it looks like we're going to get a bunch of young people who are excited to work out, like love to work out with this guy, have a sense of purpose, have a sense of being willing to put their lives on the line for this project. You know, I know that they looked not too impressive at the military parade, but we're not complaining about having a recruiting crisis like we were a couple years ago. Like he's definitely increased morale a ton, and definitely increased recruiting, and definitely raised standards for the military. Where under the Biden administration, like, oh, the military is going to be gone because we don't have anybody to be in it anymore. So,
do we have numbers on recruiting yet? Do we have new numbers on recruiting?
I don't know the specifics, but I know they're reaching their goals, and they're just slightly exceeding their goals.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then with Venezuela,
well,
yeah.
Okay, but the thing is, we don't need recruits. We have more than enough soldiers, right? Mm-hmm. We need probably fewer soldiers.
Yeah.
So the whole project is wrong from the beginning. We don't need more soldiers. We have more than enough soldiers to protect ourselves, which I thought was the purpose of our defense, our military. Yeah, we have more than enough soldiers and planes and tanks and submarines and battleships and cruisers and nuclear bombs. More than enough to protect ourselves. If we just bring everything home, everything, all the weapons, all the equipment, all the men, all the women, all the ships, all the missiles, all the things, we just bring them here. Just bring them inside right here. And we face outward from inside. That's it, period. Maybe, the coasts, we can have subs and ships going up and down the coasts. That's fine. U.S. waters, what is considered now U.S. waters. Fine. That's it. And no one will touch a hair on our goddamn head ever, if that were the case. Can you imagine if we had all of our military assets truly oriented toward defense only, and we're all of it domestically based, right? Imagine all that stuff inside here, or even half of that stuff inside here. Man, that's a porcupine that nobody's messing with, right? So,
yeah. Oh, here's another way I've broken with libertarian ideology a little bit. Infrastructure. What if they're focused on infrastructure? Just a thought.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh,
yeah. What if we had the military doing some infrastructure projects? That's all. Nation building inside America.
So you want state-built projects? You want public works projects? You like that now? Is that
I'm warming up to it. Yeah.
Trump's had a big effect on you, hasn't he?
Yeah, I know. I'm abandoning my old ideology, and I'm, there's some new things that might work. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other one is, let's say this war with Venezuela happens, and it's won quickly with an overwhelming show of force. Let's say that that's a war. You now have positive momentum in the military for the first time since the Gulf War, the first Iraq Gulf War. Like, we're winners again now. And like,
wait, where are we winners?
Let's say this, Trump starts winning very easy wars in Latin America.
That's funny.
Yeah. If that happens.
What do you think the chances are of that?
Non-zero. And I think Venezuela could be handled pretty quickly.
You do?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to get to that, but it's possible.
How on earth do you think that's the case? How on
earth? Again, it's within our borders. Well, not within our borders, but
thank you, Michael Monroe.
Yeah.
It's all American.
But yeah, as long as Russia doesn't get involved, if nobody comes to the defense of Venezuela and it's just Venezuela and they're on their own, I think it's possible for the United States Army, if they focus all their efforts on this, to take out Maduro pretty quickly. Yeah, do it themselves. Okay, this is a hypothetical. Yeah. It might look. I'm open to this being a horrible, awful regime change war.
Yeah.
Just like Iraq, just like everything else. I don't want that to happen. Okay, but just play with me here. If this is quick and won, you no longer have the demoralization of the military. People warm up to the idea of war, and they might think that more good things can come from war if we start winning easy wars that appear to benefit us.
Oh yeah, it's not going to happen. Is my point. I'm quite confident that won't happen. Now, what might happen? I think this is possible. It is possible that Maduro will leave, will abdicate, through some coercion enacted by the CIA in some way or another. I could see that happening, and then that would wrap up this little crisis cleanly. But that's not a war. First of all, so the military wouldn't have anything to be proud of. And second of all, and most importantly, it wouldn't resolve any of the contradictions in Venezuela, right? The exact same politics in Venezuela would continue apace with no change whatsoever, except that the one guy, head of state, is now gone, who could be replaced instantly by, I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure there are many, many Chavistas in the government who can replace Maduro instantly. Because it is a movement. It's the very unified movement, right? So everybody kind of thinks alike. I can't imagine it'd be difficult for them to find somebody who could step in to be leader in his place. So, and in which case, that means there'll be another war soon. And the CIA will continue to try to subvert that government. And the US will continue to try to have regime change in Venezuela. And the Western world will continue to try to have a monopoly on Venezuelan oil. And all that will continue. And there will be civil wars within Venezuela over the power of being the head of state in Venezuela gives you because of the oil, and because all the world's powers want your oil, and therefore you have power over them in a certain way. So there will be factions within Venezuela fighting for that power going forward, just like we have now. No, it's not going to do. There's not going to be. And if it is an actual ground invasion, which I just can't imagine, there aren't enough troops to even try that. But if they tried there's zero chance that goes well. Venezuela is 3 times bigger than Iraq, 3 times bigger than Iraq in population. Okay. It's not, and half of it's jungle. There's no way you can control that country. Not a chance, not even slightly. So, especially when half the country is communist, and hardcore anti-American. Like, they hate Americans, and they have reason to hate America, the United States, and have good reason to. And I mean, like, probably more than half the country. And they're also well armed because of the drug trade, the drug war, lots of guns in Venezuela. Oh, it'd be a complete nightmare. And the United States would get destroyed in it. So I don't think they're that stupid. At least I hope not. I think they're trying to get Maduro to leave on his own to scare him into it. or pressure him in some way or another, threatening, blackmailing, whatever they're, I think that's what the aircraft carrier is there for. I think it's for Maduro to intimidate him, to get him out. That's what they want. Trump wants him just to step down and leave. And then he'll call that a win.
Did you see today the Pentagon briefing? They had new media in the Pentagon for the first time.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Matt Gaetz asked a question. It was so bizarre.
And he asked a good question, and he kind of got a non-answer.
Right, Matt Gaetz, who was a congressman, now has a podcast just like us. I think this is all he does is this. But now that he's alt media, he's now in the press room in the Pentagon as a reporter asking questions. It's really funny. And the spokesperson, I was just so horrified to see this. The spokesperson for the Pentagon, I didn't know who that was until now, is Steve Cortez's daughter. Steve Cortez is like one of the Bannon War Room people. He's like a regular talking head on the War Room. And I guess he's a lawyer who worked for some Republicans and stuff, part of the Trump movement. And he has this daughter who's looks like she's about 24 and a stone cold idiot who knows nothing and smiles as she's talking about war casualties. It's just difficult to watch that. Yeah, so Gaetz asked her and she didn't answer at all about the legality. What was his question about Venezuela?
No, what's the plan? What's the plan after Maduro's gone?
Right.
Yeah.
No answer.
Yeah.
She had zero answer. She just read from the script or recited the script, which I find so offensive. But yeah. So what is the plan?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I know. Yeah. Oh, and this is another thing I got from you. I started reading Kissinger, and he started talking about why this stuff needs to be done in secret, and how plans with one country affects countries everywhere in the world. We have a global economy and global communication, and you can't think of one country isolated anymore. You have to think of, how South Korea affects Sudan somehow. Yeah, things are happening in secret that nobody knows about, and that's why nobody knows the end game, and that's why people are falling back on things that have happened before. And
we still don't know all the decision making that went on in the Iraq War, the Vietnam War, World War II, Korea. We still don't know about major decision making in those wars. We may never. Kissinger, I talked about the ideological empire versus Trump's non-ideological empire. Kissinger is the one important exception, though he was never president, right? But he's the one important exception in the history of the American empire of a major principal policymaker not being ideological, not being an American exceptionalist, not thinking in terms of America being obligated to uplift the world and remake it in its own image. Kissinger was not about that. He was simply about national power and national security, period. Protecting it, preserving it, projecting it, but not necessarily controlling major portions of the earth directly, but being dominant, certainly dominant hegemon, what America became by the time he was Secretary of State in the early 70s, right? And so he's super useful. He's almost like a pre-Trump in that way. Very honest, very frank, but he's much better because he actually knows stuff, because he's not only a scholar of foreign relations, he's the major practitioner of it. He's making U.S. foreign policy for about a decade. Almost all of it comes from Henry Kissinger's mind in some way or another during that period, and that's a crucial period too. So the second half of the Vietnam War, and then everything that goes on in the 70s. He's awesome. And then on Israel too. I mean, he's super brutally honest about Israel, and he scolds them constantly and makes fun of Jews for doing things that are self-destructive, like bombing Arab countries and killing Palestinians needlessly. He would say this to them, and he also made it very clear to them. It's great. The Kletznik group meeting he had with all these Jewish financiers and big Zionist donors, 1975. It's online. People can look it up. The Kletznik Group, Henry Kissinger meeting. And he says to them straight up, like, you all think you're powerful. You think Israel calls the shots? No, you don't call the shots. The United States of America will tell Israel what to do. And what we're telling you to do is to not annihilate that part of the Egyptian army you have surrounded in the desert in the Sinai right now, which they were about to do. They had them surrounded in 73. They had them surrounded, and the Israelis were itching to just murder all of them. And Kissinger, like, it would have been like a couple thousand men at once. And Kissinger said, I'm going to stop sending you weapons if you do that. And so they didn't kill these guys. And so he said to them, that's why. That shows to you who's the boss here. Okay. And it also shows you, he said, Jews have a history of doing things that are self-destructive. That would have been self-destructive. We saved you. And Henry Kissinger was born where? In Germany. When? In the 1920s. And he was what? Jewish. Yes, his parents were Holocaust survivors. So is he. So he knows of what he fucking speaks. And I think he's allowed to speak about Jews. But yeah, he's great. Mm-hmm. He's great when he's not like off murdering thousands of, brown people in Asia in a single day. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's great in terms of like, as a public intellectual, he was awesome. Mm-hmm. Extremely useful.
If you want to know how to get communist China to open up to trade relations, you got to read Kissinger. Like,
well, yeah.
If you want to,
well, and if you want to know how to like, annihilate maximum numbers of people in jungle terrain, also Kissinger is useful.
It's
defoliant. Turns out you just you put this chemical all over their trees and they all die. It's pretty cool. Like, it's very efficient. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It gets into the blood. It gets into the water stream, and then it gets into the blood, and then the kids grow up with deformities, so they can't fight anymore. It's awesome. Super recommended. Yeah, Kissinger's great for recommendations like that. The old Agent Orange recommendation, one of his better known ones. Actually, that wasn't him. That's before him, but he would have been in favor of it. Anyway, yeah, no, he killed an incredible number of people in between 1970 and 73 in Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. Just the bombing campaign. It's pretty incredible. We don't even know to this day, but it almost certainly was more than 1 million people in those 3 years. And most were not even in Vietnam. Most were in Cambodia and Laos. Probably 1 million people, something like that. And we gained what from it? And what would we have gained from it if we were successful? And how much did it cost us in dollars and lives? 50,000 men dead. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, also, that's the other
thing.
Incredible. When he writes, he doesn't talk about that at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I can't find anything about I haven't read everything, but I can't find anything about the bombing of Cambodia. When he goes into his memoirs, he doesn't really talk about that.
Oh.
He's just like, yeah, we had to, be nice to Russia, and we had to be nice to China, but we couldn't tell them that we were being nice to each other, so they wouldn't be nice to each other. We just had to be friendlier to both of those guys, so they would let us get out of Vietnam and not increase, It was, Cambodia doesn't come into play at all from what I've read,
So he really thought that communism was a threat?
Yeah. Well,
he really thought international communism was a real threat to the United States? Like, that was really deep in his butt. In other words, it wasn't evangelical. It wasn't missionary. It wasn't the idea of uplift. It wasn't the reform. That's not American exceptionalism. Is not killing communists because they're a threat. American exceptionalism is invading the communist country and educating their children to be like Americans.
No, he didn't want to do that. No, he wanted He wanted to clean up the mess that Johnson and Kennedy gave him, and he wanted peace and prosperity. And he would get there by killing 1 million people, but he wanted,
and a truly defensive, in their own mind, defensive foreign policy. Now, we now know Ho Chi Minh and the Viet Cong were no threat to the United States, but the idea was the domino effect would spread that communism all the way up to Mexico, and then we would be invaded by Ho Chi Minh. Was the idea. So of course, craziness, but like it is a logic, and it was self-defense in their minds. Non-imperialist. I guess, although they were trying to develop Vietnam and change it in many ways, but I think like I think for the hardcore anti-communist types, it really was seen as self-defense in their calls to invade these other countries during the
But he
Cold
wanted
War.
to soften relations with China and Russia, though. That was a big thing too. Is he
that
wanted
too?
Yeah.
Right. Non-ideological.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He was willing to cut, again, transactional, just like he was a proto-Trump in that way. Yeah, he was willing to cut deals with our enemies because he was he didn't see them as evil.
Yeah.
Because he was not ideological. Right.
Yeah.
The way that Trump doesn't see Xi or Putin as evil. He sees them as, potential business partners.
Yeah. And I think that might be happening behind the scenes again, like it happened 50 years ago.
Well, he's trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to succeed. It seems to me that Xi and Putin have stopped talking to him, basically. But
okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, in any meaningful way, I think they shine him on. Because Trump's lost his control. I mean, he's very erratic this year and incoherent, and I think he's slipping physically. And clearly, he's not actually. He's getting all of his information from his 3 or 4 closest aides. He's not thinking on his own anymore. I don't think. I mean, honestly, he's 70, almost 9, right? And he's showing it, and he's fucked up so badly. According to everyone except you and Batya Ungar Sargon and Stephen Miller, other than the 3 of you, everybody thinks Trump has been terrible this year, right? Most of MAGA is pissed off at him. Everybody dislikes what Trump did this year.
Trump has held his base and he's rebounding back, and I think 2026
he's held half his
for
base. He's held half his base.
No, I think I think a lot of his base is the thing is. A lot of his base is not online. A lot of his base just goes to Walmart and just, they're not they're not media people. They're not,
and they don't follow the news. They don't follow the news. They don't know what he's actually done.
Sure, but
right. So those people, he's saved those people. Those people are still
but they're a huge block though, is what I'm saying. They're the base.
Those are the ones he can shoot on Fifth Avenue and they'll still vote for him. Proud to have been shot by Donald Trump.
And I think a lot of the stuff about him is noise. The media is oppositional to him.
But come on. I mean, the whole Trump MAGA intellectual class is pretty much anti-Trump. I mean, he only has a handful of the podcasters still.
Dude,
the really dumb ones. I mean, anybody.
A lot of them were Johnny-come-latelys. They weren't actually Bannon's still on board. All the day one people are still on board. And
Bannon's on board, but he's been extremely critical of major stuff. I mean, Bannon's anti-Israel now. So there's been, come on. Marjorie Taylor Greene? What are you talking about? There's a massive
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
There's a revolution going on.
That was a personal spat. She's somebody who gets way outsized media attention that doesn't actually reflect the base. She's unpopular. She's losing popularity in her own district. She's not a super competent congressperson. She hasn't accomplished, she got a post office named. She's a media person. She's not really a competent congressperson. And
she changed the discourse around Israel and around a lot of stuff. She's resigning because of this.
She should serve her term, but okay, here's the metric. If Tucker explicitly turns on the administration, if Tucker turns on JD Vance, then that's when you see the death knell. Because attacking Trump, it's pointless. He's going to be out in 2028. And so if I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is. If 2026 is a bloodbath and Republicans lose all their seats and Trump gets impeached, Marjorie Taylor Greene can run in 2028 and say, "See, I told you so. I'm real MAGA. I'm anti-Israel. I know where this movement should go." She could position herself that way. I don't see that happening. And this is why I put, the immigration thing.
Yeah,
I think. The ban on 19 countries that he just put in place, the Somalian fraud that just got exposed. It's in the New York Times. It was on County Highway, Chris Rufo. It's like MSNBC is talking about massive fraud in Somalia and grilling Tim Walz about it. And the fact that the administration is taking such massive action on it is having people like Ann Coulter, who has been critical of Trump for the last 5 years, say, finally, the guy's back. So I think the victories from immigration, and then I think he's just going to buy votes also in 2026. You're going to have the tariff refund. You're going to have the Invest in America thing, where he gives every newborn baby $1,000 in a tax deferred account. And gas is going to stay cheap. I think the Trump economy is going to be booming, and he's just going to. People are going to coast off of good feelings, good sentiments, and he's going to buy votes for 2026, and it's going to work.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's an interesting reading of what's happening these days, because you've seen the polling, right? His favorability ratings.
He's doing better than every second-term president, which is really bad. He's doing slightly better than Obama, and he's doing better than Bush, way better than Bush, and he's doing better than Biden, but. Yeah, if you follow, there was a CNN poll there's a CNN poll that put him way at the bottom, but the averages of polls that I've seen have him just slightly above second-term Obama, which is to say, every president we've had has been absolutely horrible, and he's polling, I think, better than he did in his first term. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone is saying that I'm channeling Harry Brown. In the comments. I know who Harry Brown was. It's funny, I've never read a word of him. I've never heard him talk at all. I've heard of him. He was a Libertarian Party guy in the 70s.
He ran in 2000, 70s? I think.
Oh, and then he was sort of big in the 70s, 80s, maybe.
I think he's from that generation. But
so it's funny. I've heard this before. I mean, I've been compared to Harry Brown before, at least on my politics, but I don't know. It's funny. Yeah. I came to it completely on my own.
And he wrote a piece right after 9/11, just saying.
Oh, right.
Yeah. An anti-war piece right after 9/11.
Oh yeah.
The day after. Yeah.
I've heard he was excellent on such matters. So thank you. That's, I take it as a compliment. It's from what I understand. Anyway, so you're bullish on Trump.
Yeah. Buy the dip. Everybody buy the dip.
God, wow. Poly markets. You can actually do that.
Yeah.
You can bet on Trump right now. There's no indication of that happening. Like everything you just said is completely, what's it called? Contra indicational, whatever. All the evidence is going in the opposite direction. So
even after, there was an election last night that turned out in his favor, and it was
what election?
The Tennessee one. It was Ben, who is a kind of DSA type person in the district that has Nashville in it, and so Democrats put a ton of money into this, but Matt Van Epps won by like 9 points. People are saying it's a Trump plus 22 in 2024, but congressionally it's been way tighter. So I think Trump candidates are winning. The electoral losses you saw a month ago, those were horrible candidates that were anti-Trump. Those were Jack Ciattarelli's Italian, and he looks like he should run New Jersey, but he's criticized Trump. He's not on the Trump train. Winston Merle Sears, said Trump is too extreme. She's a Caribbean black woman. The Republicans don't care about diversity. Vivek might lose Ohio because of that, because of his awful messaging, and because, Republicans don't care about that stuff. But I think anti-Trump Republicans and establishment Republicans are losing, and people who are unapologetically for the Trump agenda is winning.
In a couple of races, maybe, but wouldn't you say that broadly speaking, his policies have been quite unpopular this year? Over the populace generally? Deportations.
Those are popular.
Gaza, Venezuela.
Gaza, he's polling well on Gaza because the average person, they see a peace deal and they're like,
deportations are not popular.
Massive. Okay, the shows of force are not popular, but the policy of deporting illegal immigrants is popular.
Correct. That is correct.
So,
but
they want it to happen, but they don't want to see it.
But one requires the other, right? So Well, instructive.
Yeah.
When people actually see the consequence of the policy that they call for, they don't like it. And then they find out, oh, I actually am for open borders because that's the only sensible
Here's the
position
thing.
to take.
No.
That's what happens. Correct.
So rent has been,
thank you.
Average median rent has been going down for the last 4 months. When housing gets cheaper, when all the economic benefits pile in, it's going to become more popular. And Trump's had a polling bounce in the last couple of days because of the immigration ban he's done. And then as this
you mean when we don't have anything to eat? You mean when those economic benefits come trickling down? Because
when the recipes magically disappear and yeah.
You really think Americans will be able to feed themselves? This is not hyperbole. Like, not kidding you. Americans will only be eating from machines if they deport all the Mexicans. You guys understand that, right? Like, this is obvious to me. No, serious. I'm not saying they would starve. I'm saying they would be eating cubes, like beige gelatinous cubes that are extruded from a machine. Everything we eat goes through a Mexican's hands. Not much of an exaggeration if you include Salvadorans. No, go to a restaurant, go to any place you get food from. There will be a Mexican or a Salvadoran putting his hands on your food somewhere in the process. This is correct. And all of them are immigrants of one kind or another. And a lot of them are illegal. We will starve, guys. We will starve.
Well, I think there
Seriously.
are Americans that can fill in those jobs. I think
could.
Yes.
Maybe. They won't. Because they don't DoorDash.
They don't
Listen,
DoorDash?
They do DoorDash. They only do DoorDash.
Americans?
Yeah. That's it, don't they? That's what I thought. They spend $30 on lunch to get it delivered to their
house.
I
get you.
They smoke weed, play video games, and order DoorDash. That is describing how many Americans' lives? And we're going to invade other countries with these people. And we don't need the Mexicans to feed us and deliver the thing to our door.
I think we're going to rise to the occasion. I believe in the American spirit. I believe we can do jobs.
We're going to stop smoking weed, playing video games, and getting DoorDash. We're going to get up and we're going to go read a recipe.
Yeah.
And we're going to cook dinner from a recipe.
Yeah. It's possible, Thad. If you've ever tried it, it's kind of addictive. Once you do it, you're like, oh,
whoo, child.
There's more sources of heat than just a microwave. It's like a caveman like discovering fire for the first time you use an oven or a frying pan.
I know. Yes, I love
it's amazing.
I know. I'm not American. I've cooked my entire life. Yes, I know. Dude, you know you're tripping. It's not going to happen. We need our Mexicans. God damn it. We do. Not to mention the lawns. Do you not want lawns? Do you want lawns? Do you like lawns, grass, stuff like?
I've mowed my lawn
as
a teenager. I know how to mow lawns. Teenagers know how to mow lawns.
No more lawns without Mexicans. Nope, sorry. None. You love weeds, though. You love weeds because there's going to be weedopolis up in here with no Mexicans. Who do you think pulls out 99% of the weeds in America? Do you know who picks the fucking food out of the ground before it even gets to the restaurant or the grocery store? Who do you think? You're going to go pick some berries in Salinas? Really? Guys who look like you are going to go pick berries all day long.
Those Mexicans and those berry picking, they work under very cruel conditions. And you could pay a lot more and not raise the price of produce.
Okay, then they go out of business, Michael. That's how business works. You know this, right?
Yeah.
They just raise the prices and everything's fine. What do you mean? Like,
I mean, the cost of labor when it comes to picking fruit is like
right.
Hourly, you could pick a ton of product. You can raise wages without affecting the bottom line.
We have no. We have fewer berries if this happens. That's all. That's all that happens. Okay. Right? Because what do you mean? Okay, there's less labor, and you can't raise prices on berries. By fiat, just like, oh, today it's $10 a pint, you go out of business. That's when your labor supply goes away, what happens to a business? It goes away. And young man.
Yeah. I think there are plenty of Americans who can fill these roles. A big one is trucking. Yeah. And that's another thing is
no, the only thing to do is to wait for autonomous trucking to come in, because
well, that's another thing. Yeah, automation's going to take over berry picking as well. Yeah,
we're not driving trucks. The guy playing Call of Duty is not driving trucks.
And also restaurants. Tesla just opened a fully automated restaurant, and those are getting big in Asia.
That's where we will be eating. We will be eating. Look, robots will replace the Mexicans.
Robots will replace the Mexicans, and then we'll have a bunch of Mexicans who are unemployed and who,
and are sad they came here, and they should feel that way too.
Yeah.
No, when they do that, when the robots replace the Mexicans, then this does work. But then we'll be eating from robots. Just saying. Yeah. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
We got to go.
Okay.
Because I'm getting sad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be sad. I'm trying to be optimistic for the future, for the children. I want future Americans to have something to look forward to the golden age, we've been told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go to my Substack right now. Not you, Michael. Everybody else. Go to my Substack right now and just become a subscriber. And if you do that, number one, you get to hang out at the after show, which starts right now. And number two, you get all the articles, and all of them are paywalled, so no one can read the full articles unless you're a subscriber. So you get to read all the articles. All of Unregistered is now paywalled. So if you want to watch more than just the preview, you become free as a paid subscriber. You get to watch the whole episode. And you keep all this stuff going, and you should also go to Unregistered Academy too if you want to take courses to go deeper on the stuff that Michael and I talk about. So we have courses on every subject that we've discussed here, many of which I taught as a professor at universities. So can you put that up? Unregistered Academy.
Unregistered Academy. Oh, and is
all good.
Is the Black Friday deal still extending, or
only because I forgot to take it off? So if you go now, that's right. I'm going to take it off tonight. So if you want to grab it, I'm not kidding.
You probably have like 2 hours to grab it.
Whenever. Yeah, I need to take it off. But yeah, so it is still up if you want to get the deal on the annual subscriptions for both Thaddeus Russell and Unregistered Academy. So yeah, everybody go do that right now because you're here, and why not? And it's cheap. It's so cheap, seriously cheap. So go do it. Thanks. Peace.
Sweet.
Bye.
Peace.
Love you. You're the man, Michael.
Thank you.
You crush. You do. And I'm sorry for calling you names, and I'm sorry for using ad hominem, and I apologize. And everyone needs to respect Michael Weimer. So peace.
I learned it from watching you.
I know.
Who taught you this stuff?